Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin tonight with breaking news as the COVID-19 risk level has been raised in 8 counties in North Dakota. The move was announced by Governor Doug Burgum less than an hour ago and takes the counties from the low to the moderate level. The list includes Barnes, Benson, and Grand Forks here in the Valley, along with Williams, Burley, Morton, Stark, and McLean. Governor Burgum says these counties currently account for 64% of North Dakota's 2,437 active cases.
These guidelines go in effect at 5 p.m. Tomorrow, Friday, before the Labor Day weekend, because if we can slow the spread over the Labor Day weekend, that will set us up for greater success as we head into the fall and winter.
For those moving to moderate risk level, the recommendation for capacity in bars and restaurants will decrease from 75% to 50%. The recommendation for large gatherings decreases from 75% occupancy up to 500 attendees to 50% occupancy, meaning up to 250 attendees. While the federal government has told states to get ready for a coronavirus vaccine to be distributed by November 1st, local health leaders say they haven't heard anything yet. Meanwhile, many in the Valley say they don't care when a vaccine comes out because they're not going to get one. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley talked with local health experts as well as those in the community and has our story.
Both federal and local health leaders say the first to be offered the COVID-19 vaccine this winter will be those in healthcare, essential workers, and those in long-term care facilities before being rolled out to the general public, something Denise McCollum and Jean Pettinger say they're not even considering.
I mean, I don't get the flu shots for one. In this, I just feel if it's ready here in September or November, it's way too early. I don't think they've done enough research.
I believe that they did not do enough safety studies. I think they pushed it through too fast.
Dr. Richard Vetter says while he understands both women's concerns, he credits technology advancements in the last decade for the quickness in creating the COVID vaccine, saying any downfalls it has will be figured out relatively fast.
I think within, 2 to 3 months of it being released, we'll have a good idea of whether or not there's any at least immediate or short-term risks.
Vetter says the COVID vaccine will likely require a booster shot a few weeks after the initial vaccine. And while he says he thinks the vaccine will be something you have to get yearly, Sanford infectious disease specialist Dr. Avish Nagpal says it's too early to tell.
Because we don't know how long the vaccine immunity will last. And the vaccine has not been in circulation, or we haven't had studies which look at longer term protection over the number of months and years.
Both Nagpal and Vetter say for now, November is only a tentative date and warn just because the end to the coronavirus pandemic may seem nearby, to not let your guard down yet. In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
The CDC says the COVID vaccines are currently in phase 3 of their trials, and both Dr. Vetter and Dr. Nagpal say as long as the trial data shows the vaccine is safe and effective, they will recommend it to patients. Let's take a look now at the COVID-19 numbers. In Minnesota, the Department of Health is reporting 1,047 confirmed cases of COVID-19, along with 7 new deaths linked to the illness. In total, over 1,800 deaths have been attributed to the disease. Over 70,000 people are listed as recovered. In North Dakota, there are 360 new cases along with 2 new deaths in the state. The death toll now sits at 150. The active case count is up to 2,428. We now have video of an assault that happened at a Moorhead apartment building over wearing a mask. We first reported on this Monday when Kenneth Ortner contacted our whistleblower hotline. Ortner is the man using a walker in the video. He says he asked another resident to wear a mask before riding the elevator. Pushing and shoving followed that request, with Ortner saying he was attacked and got a concussion. Moorhead police previously told us no one was arrested and no citation will be issued. We really struggled to warm up today, didn't we? And Nathan warned us about the wind. You can see it there. He's here now with a look at this evening's forecast. Nathan?
Yeah, Andrea, that northwest wind has kept our temperatures on the cool side for us today, but the good news is we did have some of that sunshine join us, as you saw just moments ago on our Dakota Magic Casino Sky Cam. But look at those winds. Right now sustained around 15 to 20 miles per hour. For most of us, with winds gusting upwards of, say, 36 miles per hour. in Jamestown, 35 miles per hour in Fargo. Even Grand Forks seeing that 33 mile per hour gust at this hour. So those northwest winds really busy, especially in the Southern Valley and in the James River Valley at this hour. Look at how windy it got today. These are wind gusts, the highest wind gusts from today. Areas like Gwinner and Fargo gusted upwards of 50 miles per hour or greater there earlier today, but you can see most of that wind was gusting to around 35 to 45 miles per hour. So the windiest spots were indeed Fargo and Gwinner in the gust category. But you can see plenty of clear sky out there for us right now. But I am watching this kind of cloud and shower activity near Saskatoon. That could bring some spotty showers here overnight. So we'll talk more about that. And of course, the holiday weekend is approaching very quickly. So we'll have a look at that holiday weekend forecast coming up.
All right. Thanks, Nathan. A 35-year-old man is facing several charges after police say he fired multiple shots last week, with one bullet going through an apartment window and narrowly missing a family. Mario Preciado was arrested by Devils Lake police Friday after the Lake SWAT team responded to a report of gunshots. Court documents allege that Preciado had marijuana along with a digital scale inside his backpack. Investigators say he fired a handgun at one person before firing a shot in the air. Police say the bullet traveled through a nearby apartment. He is charged with multiple felonies. One man is now facing charges after police say he slashed his roommate because the roommate touched his sex doll. 36-year-old Matthew Gilbert is charged with 2 counts of felony second-degree assault and 1 misdemeanor count of fifth-degree assault. It happened just before 9:30 Tuesday night in the 200 block of 17th Street South. Authorities say the victim went into Gilbert's room and covered Gilbert's sex doll with a blanket. Police say when Gilbert got home, he confronted the roommate and stabbed him. If convicted, Gilbert faces more than 17 years in prison. A Jamestown man is fighting for his life after a stabbing. Police were called to the Park Plaza Mall around 8 last night, finding a 63-year-old man with stab wounds to his abdomen. He was airlifted to Fargo with critical injuries. Police aren't sure if the stabbing happened there or at McElroy Park. They have talked to a person of interest, but no one's been arrested. If you have information on this incident, go ahead and call Jamestown Police. President Trump will hit the campaign trail today in another major swing state, Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden traveled to Kenosha, Wisconsin, with a call for unity 2 days after the president touted his law and order message there. Deborah Alfarone is at the White House with more.
Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden and his wife Jill met privately with the family of Jacob Blake upon arrival in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Then the former vice president went to Kenosha as people there try to heal. The city has experienced several days of sporadic violent protests after police shot Blake in the back 7 times.
I think we've reached an inflection point in American history. I honest to God believe we have an enormous opportunity now that the screen, the curtain's been pulled back on just what's going on in the country, to do a lot of really positive things.
President Trump has ordered his administration to look into cutting funding to several Democrat-run cities, accusing leaders of allowing lawlessness due to ongoing racial justice protests. In a memo, the president specifically mentioned the cities of Seattle, Portland, New York, and Washington, D.C. The Trump administration would likely face legal challenges if it follows through.
We believe that what we will do will be lawful within the bounds of the law, and we encourage states to act and cities to act.
The president is also clarifying a suggestion he made to supporters in North Carolina Wednesday, that they vote twice, through mail-in ballots and in person. In a series of tweets, the president now says voters should head to the polls and vote in person only if their mail-in ballot has not yet been tabulated.
Every single state in the country, you can cast a provisional ballot, and that is a ballot that is there, and if your vote that you have not mailed in is not counted, they will then count the provisional ballot. And that is exactly what the president's referring to.
North Carolina election officials have put out a memo reminding voters that it is illegal to vote twice. President Trump will hold a campaign rally in Latrobe, Pennsylvania later this evening. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
Twitter has put a public notice on two of the president's tweets on mail-in and in-person voting, saying they violate the company's civic integrity policy. Students with West Fargo Public Schools were back in the classroom today after being out for almost 6 months. In the school system, 11,000 students are being served by 3,000 staff members in 27 facilities. The number was cut in half because only students with the last names L through Z attended today. The full enrollment numbers are expected to be released early next week. One parent says she is bittersweet about her two children being back at school.
I'm excited, a little nervous, but overall excited for my son and my daughter to be back at school and try to get back into their schedule and routine and be back with their friends.
Unemployment numbers please Wall Street analysts, coming in well below estimates. The Labor Department reports 881,000 people filed first-time claims last week, marking a sharp drop from the previous week. That drop is attributed to an improving jobs market and a seasonal shift in employment numbers. Continuing claims, meaning people filing for benefits for more than 2 weeks in a row, also dropped sharply, down 1.2 million. North Dakota First Lady Catherine Burgum is in Washington tonight. She joined First Lady Melania Trump at the White House for a roundtable event on recovery-friendly workplaces. The session is part of National Alcohol and Drug Addiction Recovery Month. Burgum says the conversation centered around how employers and community leaders can expand employment opportunities for Americans who have previously struggled with addiction.
The struggle of addiction, the shame and stigma of addiction is real, and it's really important for us to eliminate that shame and stigma, talk about the disease of addiction like any other disease, and it's really important for corporations to do the same.
Burgum talked publicly about her own fight against addiction. She also highlighted companies in North Dakota that are making an effort to hire those in recovery. Still ahead on Valley News Live at 5. If you have travel plans for the Labor Day weekend, it might be time to double check them. What experts are saying that could save you some trouble.
And if you are stepping out this evening, the good news is that wind will be calming down as we head toward the sunset hour, but the cool temperatures will be here. Notice those clear skies and low 50s here in the Fargo area. That sunset around 8 p.m. In Grand Forks, a few more clouds up in the northern valley, but also cooler temperatures and cooler temperatures for the weekend. I'll have your forecast next.